Hey, Forge Chronicles. I'm in the park doing my diamond painting. I'm not sitting out in the sun because it's really nice today, but since my hot flashes be doing their own thing sometimes, sitting in the sun triggers them real fast. Even though I'm taking my meds, it's like 80 degrees. I don't want to be hot. So I'm sitting with the breeze coming through the door, but I'm doing my diamond painting. But look, I got something I want to talk about, and I'm going to be vulnerable, so y'all don't be coming for me neither. Now, this has got to do with how I used to act. I'm just going to keep it 100. Now, when I first started dating the gentleman I go with now, like I told you, when I was married to my first husband, he used to let me get away with murder, basically. And he didn't let me do anything, but he didn't scold me too much. So, when I started dating the dude I date now, and he would, like, if I had to do something with customer service, I am not nice. And I would get on the phone sometime, and he might be in the bed or in another room, and he'll hear me talking, and he'll be like, yo, he was like, why was you talking to them like that? And I'd be like, cuz they was acting like they was stupid, blah, blah, blah. And he'll be like, you can't talk to people like that. Or I used to be, hey, my mouth was something else. I used to give them people hell. And then the thing about it was so crazy. That was my job before I lost my job. I had customer service in Metro Access. I hated that job. But that's not the point. The point was I used to get in trouble. Now, he ain't never scold me or nothing. But my boyfriend would be like, you can't talk to people like that. And he would get up and leave the room sometime when he would hear me talk to people on the phone. He'd be like, he was like, you're going to have to do better than that. Because he don't argue. He don't believe in arguing. He don't believe in giving people a hard time. He was like, how you giving them a hard time when they ain't the one that initiate? Like, say, like, you get back on the phone, and they just the next person that get the issue that you having, and you give them hell. They didn't do it. The issue that you had when you called in, they didn't do it. And I used to not care. I used to just be like, man, and talk to him any type of way and call him stupid and blah, blah. And he'll be like, you can't keep doing that. And I used to be like, why? He was like, because it's not called for, and you know better. You know how you better than that. And I used to be like, whatever, man. I don't want to hear that. But it used to resonate with me. And then he'll just be like, if I started trying to talk to him any type of way, like being loud or trying to argue, he'll be like, I'm not doing that. And I'll be like, what you mean you're not doing? He was like, I'm not going to argue with you until you can talk to me. I'm not going to talk. And he really would ignore me like, yeah, we're not doing that. He was like, that way you talk, when you get agitated, it's not cool. And I used to be like, whatever, man, whatever. But it was all my anxiety. I didn't know. And it was like, well, that's how I am, and that's how I've been all my life. And he used to be like, well, you can't do that with me. And I used to be like, who the hell you think you are? I'm being honest. But because of him, the few years ago, I did meet him, and the way he used to always get on me when he would hear me get on the phone, he'd be like, you ain't do that right. And I'd be like, man, why you always listening to my phone? He's like, because you can't talk to people like that. And I'd be like, yeah, you right, whatever. And then eventually, especially since when I started therapy, like now I could talk to people like I got some sense. Even when they weren't, like, I had a problem with my phone bill. I overpaid my phone bill back in May, and they were supposed to send me my the money back for the double bill. They never sent it to me, so I called this morning, and I talked to the gentleman, and he was wrong. And my boyfriend was right there because he had stayed over last night. So he was like, he'll listen to me now. He don't have to say nothing. He was like, because I'll be like, thank you for your time. And I was like, well, he was wrong. So I hung the phone up, looked through my bank account, made sure I was correct, and called back and got another person. But if I would have done that back in the day, that second person would have caught hell because the first person didn't know what they was doing. I was just as polite to her as she was to me. She fixed it. They was going to send the refund check, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? I have learned. I ain't ashamed of that. I'm not ashamed to let y'all know, yeah. That shit ain't cool. I don't care how old you are. I don't care. Well, I'm old. I can do it. It ain't right. I love you, Forge Chronicles. I don't mind showing y'all and telling y'all the stuff that I had to change, because that's not correct. You should never talk to anybody the way you don't want to be talked to. And I did. I love you guys.